You've heard the word alignment 1,000 times. People throw it around like it's a lifestyle trend. I'm trying to align with my purpose, or that's not in alignment with my energy. But let's be honest, most of us don't actually know what full alignment is, let alone how to reach it and live from it every single day. And that's the problem. Because the truth about becoming fully aligned is that it's not about looking spiritual, thinking positively, or faking peace. It's about making the most radical, soul-level commitment to truth. And truth doesn't always feel good. In fact, it can feel like destruction before it feels like liberation. But once you go through that doorway, you begin to access something so rare, so magnetic, so undeniably powerful, that people can feel it before you speak. You become the frequency of your purpose. You become the living code of your soul. That's the real meaning of full alignment. I didn't reach this understanding by reading books or sitting in comfort. I learned it the hard way, by losing everything that wasn't me. There was a time when I thought I had everything figured out. I was successful by the world's standards, but inside, I was fragmented. My actions didn't match my values. My words didn't match my inner knowing. My relationships were built on negotiation, not authenticity. I was performing a life that looked aligned but felt hollow. And when you live that way long enough, something in your soul begins to rebel. The more I ignored that inner voice, the louder the discomfort became. Until one day, I couldn't fake it anymore. I hit a wall. Everything that wasn't true began to collapse. And in that chaos, I realized something most people never do. Alignment isn't something you seek. It's what's left when everything false falls away.
Click subscribe to this channel to get more profound spiritual lessons.
So what actually is alignment? It's when your thoughts, words, actions, and energy are all moving in the same direction, toward your soul's truth. It's when you stop living from the mind's fear and start living from the soul's knowing. It's when your outer life becomes a transparent mirror of your inner clarity. It's not perfection. It's congruence. It's integrity, not the moral kind, but energetic integrity. The kind that vibrates so clearly that anything not matching you either transforms or exits your field. And this isn't spiritual fluff. This is physics. Coherence creates magnetism. When you are fully aligned, you don't chase. You attract. You don't hustle. You transmit. You don't try to convince the world of your worth. You embody it, and the world responds accordingly. But here's the part that most spiritual teachers won't tell you, because it's not comfortable or marketable. Full alignment requires full responsibility. You don't get there by blaming your childhood, your ex, your job, your karma, or your circumstances. You get there by being ruthlessly honest with yourself. You get there by asking the questions no one wants to ask. Where am I lying to myself to stay comfortable? What am I tolerating that's draining my soul? What story am I still attached to that's keeping me small? Who would I be if I stopped settling? These questions are not for the faint of heart, but they are the gateway to power. Because alignment isn't about what feels good in the moment. It's about what is true for your evolution. And truth, real truth, will burn everything that isn't you. I remember a conversation with a spiritual elder during one of my darkest nights. I asked, why does it feel like everything is falling apart? He looked at me and said, because you're finally falling in. That hit me like lightning. What I thought was a breakdown was actually a breakthrough. Life wasn't punishing me. It was stripping away what couldn't come with me into full alignment. And once I stopped resisting the collapse, I started listening. I started noticing that underneath the noise, my soul had been guiding me the whole time. Every misstep, every heartbreak, every detour, it had all been necessary. Not because pain is inherently spiritual, but because pain is what happens when we're living out of alignment. And when we finally surrender to what is, we create space for what's meant to be. So I ask you, what if the very thing you're resisting is the thing that's trying to align you? What if the discomfort you feel isn't a sign that something's wrong, but a sign that something false is unraveling. What if you've been praying for alignment while clinging to misalignment? And what if, right now in this moment, you have the power to shift, not by fixing the world around you, but by returning to the deepest truth within you? Because the truth is not far, it's not hidden, it's present. It's been whispering to you in your quiet moments, in your gut feelings, in the decisions you avoid, in the patterns that keep repeating. The truth doesn't shout, it waits. And it's waiting for you to say, I'm ready to live from what's real no matter what it costs. When the truth hits your frequency, why alignment accelerates everything. Most people think alignment is a gradual climb. They imagine it like a spiritual staircase. You take one step at a time, meditate a little more, heal a little more, journal a little more, and eventually maybe you'll feel aligned. But that's not how it works when truth hits your frequency. When you finally see what's not aligned, when you finally feel the weight of living a life that's only partially true, and when you decide to stop betraying your own knowing, everything starts moving fast. Situations shift, people fall away, new opportunities arrive, not because you manifested harder, but because your signal changed. Alignment isn't a slow burn, it's a vibrational click. And the moment that click happens, the universe stops mirroring your clarity. But here's the twist, that acceleration doesn't always feel good. When you align, you don't just attract new things, you shed everything that was attached to the old version of you. And shedding doesn't feel like winning, it feels like chaos. One day you feel clear, powerful, unstoppable. The next, it's like your whole life is dissolving. You start questioning everything, your relationships, your job, your identity. But that's not regression, that's recalibration. Think of it like this. You were broadcasting on one frequency for years, and now you've changed stations. Everything in your life that was tuned into your old channel either has to retune or disconnect. And in that gap between disconnection and reconnection, it's easy to panic. But don't. That's the sacred void. That's the space where your life is catching up to your truth. You're not falling apart. You're falling into alignment. This is the part most people run from. They feel the discomfort and assume they made a mistake. They start compromising again, shrinking again, numbing out again. Why? Because alignment requires courage. It demands that you stay true to yourself before the rewards come. You have to hold the frequency of your future before it physically arrives. That's the test. That's the alchemy. Anyone can be aligned when life feels good, but staying aligned when everything is uncertain, that's where the real transformation happens. That's where you stop being a spiritual consumer and become a spiritual creator. That's where you stop reacting to life and start transmitting your reality from the inside out. And it's not just about what you get, it's about who you become. Full alignment turns you into a different kind of being. You speak differently. You walk into rooms differently. Your presence shifts environments. Why? Because people can't ignore someone who's congruent. In a world full of masks, someone living in alignment is electrifying. You don't have to say much. Your vibration does the talking. You stop trying to convince people you're worthy. You stop chasing what doesn't feel true. You stop needing validation because you've validated yourself. And ironically, that's when everything starts coming to you. Not because you forced it, but because you became the version of you who is already living it. That's the paradox of alignment. You don't get what you want by becoming someone else. You get it by becoming fully you. So let me ask you something deep, something most people never ask themselves. Not really. What would your life look like if you stopped compromising? If you stopped editing yourself to fit in? If you stopped dishonoring your intuition just to keep the peace? What if you finally trusted the version of you that's been waiting in the background, the one with the vision, the clarity, the power? What if that version isn't something you grow into over years, but something you activate right now by simply choosing to stop lying to yourself? Because that's the real truth about becoming fully aligned. It's not a journey of becoming more. It's a journey of becoming real. And once you choose real, life will move faster than you ever imagined, not because it got easier, but because you stopped resisting the truth. The alignment frequency, how to live it, lead it, and never lose it again. Living in alignment isn't a one-time realization. It's a daily, moment-to-moment choice. You don't just wake up aligned and stay there by default. You return to alignment repeatedly until it becomes your baseline. That's the real work. And it's not glamorous. It happens in the quiet moments when no one's watching. It happens when you choose truth over comfort, clarity over confusion, inner peace over outer approval. Every day you're given hundreds of micro decisions. Do I speak my truth or stay silent? Do I follow my gut or follow the crowd? Do I honor my energy or betray it for convenience? These choices add up. They either pull you closer to your core or further from it. And over time, you realize something profound. Alignment isn't something you chase. It's something you protect. To stay aligned, you must learn how to lead yourself. No one else can do it for you. Not your partner, not your teacher, not your followers. You must become your own source of guidance. You must know how to sit with your own chaos and not abandon yourself. You must train yourself to recognize when you're slipping into old patterns, people-pleasing, self-doubt, avoidance, and instead of judging yourself, pivot back to presence. This is energetic leadership. And once you master it, something powerful happens. The external world begins to mirror your internal clarity. People come to you for alignment. Opportunities arrive without force. Your very presence becomes a lighthouse for others. And the beautiful part, you don't even have to try. You are it. You've embodied it. And embodiment is louder than any words. But even with mastery, alignment will still be tested. Life will still present you with illusions, new levels, new temptations, new distractions dressed as progress. This is where many spiritual people get stuck. They ascend to a higher level, but they don't anchor their alignment there. They think because they've reached a new vibration, they're safe. But the higher you rise, the subtler the tests. Can you still trust your path when it looks different from everyone else's? Can you still say no to what's almost right so you can hold space for what's fully true? Can you stay grounded in your power when others project their fears onto your freedom? That's what real alignment looks like. It's not just floating in peace. It's standing rooted in your truth while the winds of the world try to sway you. To never lose alignment again, you must build a life that supports it. That means your environment, your relationships, your daily habits, they all need to reflect and reinforce your truth. You can't keep returning to clarity while surrounding yourself with chaos. You can't keep trying to elevate your frequency in spaces that thrive on drama, mediocrity, or illusions. Alignment isn't just a vibe, it's a structure. Build rituals that anchor you. Surround yourself with people who see you clearly and hold you accountable. Design your life in a way that makes misalignment difficult and truth the default. This isn't about control, it's about devotion. Devotion to your highest self, devotion to what's real, devotion to the mission your soul came here to live. And here's the final truth. When you live in alignment, you don't just change your life, you change your timeline. You collapse years of seeking into moments of knowing. You skip steps, you quantum leap. You become the version of you who no longer hopes for alignment, you transmit it. You become the living embodiment of what others are still searching for. And that's not ego, that's service. Because when one person lives in full alignment, it gives others permission to do the same. That's how we shift the planet. Not by preaching, but by embodying. Not by convincing, but by living as the proof. So if you're still wondering if you're ready to become fully aligned, let me tell you this. The moment you stop asking for permission and start honoring your truth, you already are.